subscribe.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. I'm fucked, but I'm back. And I don't know what the fuck is going on with the world right now, but everyone seems to be ill. My family included in that are very ill. I don't know what's going on. It's not COVID, but it's knocked everyone for six. Maybe it's just a flu, and now because of all these crazy diseases and shit that's going on in the world, everyone forgets what the flu's actually like. Who knows? Travis has got hand, foot and mouth, bless him, and obviously it's massively contagious to kids. So now Harrison's got it. He's got a few little spots coming up. It's not chicken pox, it's just a pain in our ass. But to be fair to Travis, he's took it well. A lot better than what I have and what Kirsty has. We've both been quite poorly. So yeah, hopefully this year carries on getting a little bit better, because it hasn't started too well for the Boons. I must admit, there's been a lot of illness and sickness in camp, but I think I'm coming out of it the other way. I've not really had a lot of time to recover, so I've been working now. This is my 7th day in a row, and obviously I've got all the next week to do as well, and then I'm looking forward to having a bit of time off. So obviously my time for recovery has been very minimal, which is why I've also not recorded this video any earlier, because literally I've been getting home, sometimes not even eating, and just going to bed. Last night I don't even know what time I fell asleep, but yeah, I was lights out early doors. So it's been hard, but to make up for it, when I get home from work tonight, gonna get showered, get myself ready, and then we're gonna take Travis bowling for the first time. So that's gonna be the plan. We're gonna see how little man gets on bowling, and that's kind of gonna lead into this episode's theme, which is all gonna be about playtime and imaginary friends and make-believe and all that kind of cool stuff. So before we get cracked into that, last week I started a new feature. I told you guys I was going to start doing a dad joke. So now it's
time for a BJ. BJ stands for Boon Joke, in case you didn't know.
And hopefully with a little bit of magical editing I've done that alright. So what is the difference between light and hard? I can sleep with the light on. Yeah? I told you they weren't going to be great. You know, I don't really expect from me. I'm no comedian. I may act the clown, granted, and everybody that knows me knows I can act the clown. But I'm no comedian, and I can only hope these jokes get better and or worse. You know, it's just, who knows? Who knows? And again, before we go any further, as usual, a big, massive thank you for everybody that is listening and putting the time in. I've not put as much effort into it the last few weeks because I've not been feeling too great. But when I start feeling better, I'm going to be really pushing home the promotions and the shorts and all the TikTok and all this, that and the other. But what I need from you guys, the guys that are listening, keep liking it. Please, I beg everybody that watches this video to share it. Yeah, whether you put it on your Snapchat, whether you tell your mum and dad or your cat or your cousins or whatever, you know. Please like, share and subscribe, because the numbers are dwindling. I'm still on 44 subscribers. I really want to hit 50. That's my next target. You know, baby steps. My first video, obviously I don't expect you to rewatch it, but I'd like my first video to get to 200. I think that's on 181 now or something like that. So yeah, I started off really good and positive with really big numbers. Well, quite big numbers for a very small platform. But now I'm sort of, you know, slowing down and it's becoming more of a slog. But I really want to keep going. So please, guys, do me a favour, get sharing, spread the word. Please add comments as well, like what you're liking, what you don't like. I'm going to maybe try and condense these episodes down a bit and see if that helps. Feedback is much appreciated, positive and negative, because it's the only way I'm going to improve. Alright? So let's get down to the nitty gritty of the episode, and it's playtime. And like I said, tonight I'm buzzing. Travis has never been bowling before, so we're going to take him bowling. And it's a bit of a strange one, because he now wants to go bowling because he's watched, of all things, he's watched Kirsty playing zombies, Call of Duty zombies. And on there's like an Easter egg as such, which an Easter egg is like a hidden thing within a game that you've really got to look out for. They're little quirky things, and they can sometimes you know, it's just like a picture, or it takes you into a secret part of the level, or it could be anything. So this Easter egg in Black Ops Zombies, which anybody that's played it will probably know about by now, and it's on the map called Liberty Falls, I believe, and there's a big bowling alley. It's part of the map. You unlock it quite early on, depending on which way you go and which gates you open. And at first, on face value, it's just a bowling alley. There's a mystery box in there. Everybody, again, that's played zombies over the years will know all about mystery boxes. You can get a random weapon, quite cheap, sometimes really good, sometimes really shit. You know, it's just random, hence the mystery box. So again, for ages, we didn't know the crack. And then Kirsty, like, she's using it as a bit of a way of chilling out, which is fair enough. You know, we don't really get a lot of time, so when Harrison's asleep and Travis is chilling, she plays a bit of zombies. Fair play. Anyway, so I'm at work one day, and Kirsty messaged me and goes, I've just gone bowling on Black Ops 6 Zombies. I'm like, what the fuck are you on about? She goes, yeah, all of a sudden I was minding my own business. It portaled me into, like, the bowling alley. All the doors were locked. The zombies are in there watching and dancing and all having a bit of a jig up and that, and then all of a sudden this bunny rabbit pops up, gives you a bowling ball and says crack on. You got 2 minutes, knock down as many zombies as you can, because they're walking across the lanes, sort of backwards and forwards a bit aimlessly. You just got to knock the zombies over like they were pins. Sweet. So Travis has seen this. Travis thinks this is fucking hilarious. It is. It's quirky. It's, you know, and that's what I love about games and developers and things like that. They don't just make fantastic games, but they also add these little things in that is wicked. And to trigger it, there's 5 pairs of bowling shoes scattered around the map. You've got to shoot every one of the pairs. When you shoot them, they disappear. But there's ways of finding that. Just have a look online, type it in, and there's ways to find it. And it's good fun. It's a good crack, you know. So yeah, Travis has seen that, and yeah, now he wants to go bowling, which, you know what, sweet. Let's go bowling, man. Like, you want to go bowling, sound. I'll take him bowling. We'll put the lanes up. He can throw the ball down there, or they've got those slide things for the ball where you just pop the ball on it, push it down, away you go. Don't know what they're called. Stands, I guess, or slides. I don't know, supports. But anyway, anyone that's bowling knows what I'm on about. So we'll take him, and that'll be nice. You know, I'll strap Harrison to me. Whether I can bowl normally like that remains to be seen, or whether I have to use one of the support stand slide unit things. Whatever, you know, it'll be a good crack. It'll be fun for us to do like a nice activity together as a family. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that tonight. That's going to be wicked. So what I'm also going to touch upon now, seeing as I was talking about Travis watching, is Screentime and things like that. Now, I appreciate that Call of Duty Zombies and things like that, Call of Duty, because of swearing and the violence and whatnot, is an 18, right? Sound. Now, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't say we allow him to sit and watch, like I wouldn't let him play Call of Duty. And it's not like he sits there and actively watches a lot of it either. He's usually playing or whatever, and he's seen a couple of bits. There's certain bits I don't want him to see, like at the end, if you get caught by the zombies, they eat you quite savagely. I make sure he doesn't watch things like that, like, because it's, you know, it's not nice for him to see it, and they obviously don't understand at that age that it is just a game necessarily, and all the rest of it, you know. So it's things like that yeah, I don't necessarily want him seeing for obvious reasons. Same for, we used to let him watch normal YouTube because there was things on there that he liked watching, but then we kind of linked the stuff he was watching on there to potentially bad behaviour, so we've now stopped that. He's only allowed to watch the kids' YouTube, which is a separate app, which he always used to watch, but he got like quite into Minecraft and things like that, you know, watching people play Minecraft. So you can't always find those sort of things on the kids' YouTube, and it's my fault, you know. He's very grown up for his age, so you do kind of forget. And I think where I didn't have that growing up, I'm unaware of the potential development side of things, that, you know, the negativity that he's potentially picking up from watching certain videos and stuff like that, and from watching YouTube shorts and stuff like that as well, like, which are sometimes centered around gaming, but he's, you know, they're like little mimics and mimes and sponges. They copy a lot of shit they see and hear. So yeah, we've knocked that on the head now. And he still has his moments because he's 4 and he's a boy, and what kid doesn't kick off and be a bit moody, and he's like a teenager at times. He's more like 14 than he is 4, but it is what it is, So yeah, we found that. So screen time for me is a difficult one. Now, I don't want him glued to a screen all day, but I do feel that screens nowadays do have benefits. Like, I never, like when I was a kid, all right, we didn't have laptops and things like that. Computers were very early doors, but we did have TVs. Yeah, granted, we didn't have loads of stuff available, but we had VHS. We had an old school video recorder, and you could watch stuff or record shit and then rewatch it. Like, I had a recorded video of like a few episodes of The Simpsons that led into Robot Wars that I used to just watch flat out. I love The Simpsons, I love Robot Wars and stuff like that. It's not like you had Sky Plus or anything like that, or any of the other fancy shit. I mean, we didn't even have Sky when I was growing up, or we had NTL for a bit, and that was a bag of shit. And then we didn't. I'm assuming nobody paid the bill because all the channels went. We just had standard TV. So, I think he's fortunate, and I think a lot of the videos you can find on the kids' YouTube are very educational. I think he has picked up quite a bit from that. And look, everybody learns differently. Yeah, everybody does learn differently. Whether it's through being told something, watching something, doing it yourself. So he's a very clever boy. And granted, like I said, I don't want him glued to it because that's, he becomes lazy, he doesn't want to do anything. But this kid of mine, Travis, has got such a fantastic imagination, and he is very active. He's very tall, he's well built. There's not really an ounce of fat on him, I don't think. And he's far from lazy. Well, no, actually, that's a lie. He can be a bit lazy, but he loves the park. Granted, you got to sometimes convince him to go to the park. And I think when the weather starts getting better, which it is now, it's a lovely sunny day. You can see the sun beaming down on me for those that are watching. So yeah, it's a nice sunny day, man. Like, the weather's getting better. I'm looking out. There's not a cloud in the sky. I love this time of year. Spring is fantastic. Summer's even better. So now I'm going to really start trying to push the football thing when I'm not working as much. I want to start taking him football again, and eventually get him, hopefully, into a team. But this is something I want him to choose. I don't want it forced upon him, because then he's not going to want to do it. Like, yeah, I'm hoping when he starts school in September, where he makes friends and they play football, he'll then want to play football, because that's something that I did. I wasn't massively into football, but I had a wicked imagination, and yeah, once I made friends at school, I wanted to play football. I was playing football for the lower school team, Kingsmore Lower, shout out Kingsmore Lower. I played in goal and I loved it. So yeah, if that's something he gets into off the back of it, then fucking fantastic. But yeah, so I'm going to get him out having a kickabout because he likes that, and there's a park next to it as well, so best of both worlds. He can have a run around, and he loves that. What he also loves as well, and he loves combining everything he's seen. So he's so like into all of his like video game characters, which comes from me, I guess. So early on, he watched the Mario movie with me when he was poorly, and he's been Mario mad. He recently watched the Sonic film, which he wasn't quite as into because it's not all animated, I think. But he's still Sonic mad, and he loves Mario, Sonic, things like that. He's recently got very much into his Batman Imaginext stuff. So he loves Batman, Joker, Superman, Avengers, all of that. So anything like that, Spidey and his amazing friends, all that animated stuff, he loves it. He's superhero crazy. But then his imagination's into overdrive as well. So he'll see things like that he's watched, and then he pretends that he's playing that, and he wants me to play that with him. So ever since he's watched Mario and Luigi, it's been embarrassing. I picked him up from nurseries, and he's referring to me as Luigi, and I have to call him Mario or he gets the ump. And like, it got to the point where he wanted us to put like the voices on. So recently it's been Robin, and I'm kind of like the old school Batman and Robin, where it's all like a little bit, I don't know, put on, a bit camp, as you were. It's just all like, gee whiz, Batman, holy smokes, and all that sort of crap. And I proper get into it. I can't help it, like it's wicked, and Kirsty absolutely cracks up at it. And Travis loves it, like, that's why I'm not worried about the screen time thing. I know it's a big thing. I know people shit themselves, but fuck it, man. Like, he's far from slow or backwards. He knows his numbers. He can count forwards and backwards, which is mad. He can do simple maths, and he's not even at school yet. You know, he's not actually been taught by a teacher. You know, so yeah, I'm not worried. I just think moderation is the key. Yeah, like anything, you can't have too much of a good thing. I would love to go home and sit on the Xbox for hours. We've all started playing Power World. Everyone at work is mad for it. Ollie, Aiden, even the foreman, like Jazz, whose birthday it was yesterday. Shout out to Jazz if he listens, I don't know. But it was his birthday yesterday, and he had last Saturday off, and I was having a crack with him. He was like, oh man, he's American. He's like, hey man, you know that Power World? Dude, I sat on it for like hours. I was like, what, like, you know, maybe sat on it for like 3 or 4 hours. Nah, he got up at, I think he said 10 o'clock and played it till 1 o'clock in the morning. Straight, just didn't move, flared out on Power World. It's so addictive, and again, I encourage anybody to sit down and have a go. It's free if you've got the Xbox Game Pass. It's a rip-off of Pokemon massively, but it's different to Pokemon, and that's what I like about it. It's like a survival game meets Pokemon, and there's just so much to do, and the game's not even fully released yet. So yeah, for me it's pure nostalgia, and Travis has watched me play that. There's nothing really wrong with that. You know, he'll sit and have a cuddle, and I don't do it a lot, but he'll sit there, and I used to do it with my mum and dad. They used to play the SNES, and I'd just sit on the lap and watch, because it's, you know, it's bright colours, it's interesting, and it's funny. And then he picks up things from that, like you have to gather all your materials, whether it's farming or chopping it down, and he then knows that, like, he's watched me and I'm there like chopping at a tree and I've run out of stamina, and I'll hear him playing and he'll be like, oh, I'm tired, I've got to take a rest, I've run out of stamina, and things like that. So like, for me, it's like looking back to when I was his age and what I was like as a kid. My imagination used to run wild and I used to love it. I had an imaginary friend. Again, it's what you do as a kid. It's all part of growing up and developing and practicing social skills, and you know, I love that his mind's so active and that he's so funny with it as well. I love it. I could watch him playing like that all day. And then now that he's got all like the action figures and the play sets and things like that, obviously we're acting out scenarios and, you know, pretend fighting the little figures, and it's wicked. You know, this is why I love the fact that I've got a boy, and well, I've got 2 beautiful boys, so it's gonna be great. I get to do all this. Obviously, if I had a daughter and she wanted to play ponies and make up and dress up, you best believe that I'll be getting my nails done and my makeup on my face and all the rest of it. You know, it's part of being a dad. It's part of having the crack, and the fact that I'm still young enough to be able to do that, obviously, I think will help massively. So, yeah, if play is wicked for them, and play is massive for learning too. So, yeah, get stuck in, and don't get me wrong, it is hard. I struggle. I'll come home from work, and the last thing you want to do is anything, to be honest. And I've said this before, but seeing the look on his little face when we are playing, and I do something funny, and he loves it. He absolutely cracks up, and yeah, it's what it's all about. So, again, similar to Screentime, is Travis is starting to get into playing on the Switch and things like that, and he loves Super Smash Brothers. And again, I don't personally see anything wrong with it. You know, it's something that he enjoys, and again, it's only in moderation. It's not like he sits on it for hours upon hours. And given half a chance to get out in the garden, he will be out in the garden. You know, as soon as I put my shoes on and go out in the garden, you best believe he's right there with his coat and his shoes, and he's out with me. I could be only going to the shed, but he will want to come out. So that's why I'm not bothered. But what I would say is, if you do have a child, and I think as he gets older, he might be more drawn to the fact that he's going to want to sit and play Minecraft for hours and stuff like that, especially if his friends are playing and he can talk to them online and all that. Fair enough. I did as well. It never did me any harm, but there were negative signs that I've learned from my mistakes. Like, for example, I'd miss a lot of days off school because all I wanted to do was sit and play World of Warcraft. I look back now, what did I benefit from that? Nothing really. However, I look at myself now, and the hard work I've put in wasn't really the fucking end of the world. But I don't want to make the same mistakes. I don't want my boy to be glued to a game that much that it affects his learning and all the rest of it. Because there's silly things that I wish I knew more of. Maths wise, I used to be so good at maths. My maths is still pretty good, but there's silly things that I wish I kind of learned more of, you know, like the scientific part of the calculator and all the rest of it. But minors, you know, I can learn it all on YouTube. But look, bad example. But you see what I'm trying to say, right? You see what I'm trying to say. Moderation is key. Moderation is key with everything. So yeah, the play thing, it does get embarrassing. Like I said, being called Batman out in Robin, sorry, out in public, or like I said, Luigi, and even when like you're picking him up and he's like, yeah, he's referring to Luigi and Princess Peach. Yeah, that's just me and his mum. Yeah, just you just can't kind of go with it, you know. It is what it is. And like he's obsessed with the fact that Kirsty and I have started playing Lorcana, which is a card game based on Disney, and we're kind of crazy about it. You know, we've got loads of cards at the minute, keep trying out new decks and stuff, and he's so desperate to play it with us. But he's so like confident and stuff. We'll be out in public and he'll be like, yeah, I want to play, like, we'll be buying something at the shop, the local shop, just getting a drink and bits like that. Yeah, Mummy and Daddy are playing a card game, and I want to start playing it too. Mate, he's just trying to sell me a Red Bull and some chocolate buttons for the kids. You know what I mean? Like, he don't care. But this is what I mean. He's not. I don't think this screen time's affecting him in a negative way. If anything, I think it's giving him confidence, because he feels like, from what he's watched and seen, and how me and his mum are with him, and his other cousins, he's got confidence. He's got people skills. He's learnt a lot. He knows a lot for such a young lad, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I appreciate that the internet is a dangerous place, and I think, like I said, the fact we let him watch normal YouTube and a few videos on there, and we started to see a decline in his behaviour and his attitude, and how he was getting a little bit more physical and stuff with us. We've learned from that, and yeah, as he gets older, you know, I'll have things like the parental blocks on certain websites and shit like that, because there's a lot of stuff out there you don't want to see, and not necessarily porn and shit like that, but you know, nowadays, like, videos of people being killed and stuff are just everywhere, or like awful stuff like that. And then you hear about all this awful shit. I've never seen anything on there, and I'm not really on it much. I go through phases of like TikTok and stuff, but like videos of like how to commit suicide and all that shit, and I just think, who the fuck, man? Like, what? Some weird fucking people out there, and you know, it's a different world that the boys are going to grow up in, and it's not a world that Kirsty and I grew up in. You know, we're from the 90s. We didn't have stuff like that. All we had to worry about was nonces, and nonces are still prevalent, but now nonces are everywhere online, and trying to chat to your kid through Snapchat, or, do you know what I mean, trying to get them to send pictures of their bits and that. Like, the fuck, man, we never had none of that. So yeah, things like that are very scary, and that's where we'll have to monitor certain things. And you can get software and stuff that can monitor their phones and all the rest of it. And look, you can't like, technology's the way forward. You can't hold kids back. You can't, otherwise they're not going to get on later on in life. And there's going to come to a time where he's going to show me something to do with technology, like, that I didn't know, like I have with my parents and my grandparents and stuff like that, you know. So yeah, you can't hold them back. You just got to know what to look out for and be careful, you know. And you will know the signs. You know, you'll start to suspect, and yeah, you just make sure that they haven't got passwords on their phones, and that you can just get access, and like I said, monitoring apps and shit like that, you know. So yeah, I think what I'm trying to say is there's so much in the world you could worry about, you'll never end up doing anything. So what's the point? You gotta make sure you got control measures in place, and you got to trust them control measures, and you just got to be vigilant. That's all you can do, because otherwise you could never cross the road, for example, through fear that something could come out of nowhere and wipe you out. Yeah, or you maybe never drive anywhere, because that's the day that you're going to get mauled by a lorry or be in a 12-car pile-up. You know, like, these things, if they're going to happen, they're going to happen, but all you can do is put control measures in place and be vigilant. Same as make sure that you're extra safe on the road. You don't touch the screen while you're driving. You don't have your phone in your hand. You're focused on what you're doing. It completely reduces the risk, you know, because you're not going to get rid of paedophiles, although they should be locked up for a long time, longer than drug dealers and all the rest of it. But I'm not going to fix the justice system, unfortunately, however much I'd like to. So yeah, just let them do what they're going to do. Just keep an eye on them, and that's what we'll do. We'll keep an eye on them. So yeah, bowling tonight. I'm buzzing for that. That's going to be really good. Like I said, I'm going to condense these videos down. 25 minutes is still a decent amount of time. Thank you again, everybody, for listening. I do really appreciate it. Keep playing with your kids. Keep enjoying those moments. Keep getting involved. Buy some costumes. That's my next thing. I think I'm going to surprise him and buy a little costume and just turn up at home one day from working it and just see his little face. So watch this space. I'll get some pictures of that when it comes. Again, thank you very much for listening, guys. Enjoy your day. Please, please spread the word. Peace out, guys. Enjoy.